I just want to thank everybody for returning to Syreta Talks, to hearing what we have to say, to being, it should be to listening to us showcase all these awesome people and hear their stories of their success and ways to make yourself a success. I always want my audience to know that you should leave with something in everything that you do, whether it be a tenuous situation where you can learn something about that, or whether it's just an overjoyous situation, how can you make that happen again? My special guest, I'm so happy to have on, is Nick Lozano. He's in Oklahoma City. And I just love it when we have this broader message that can reach so many people. Nick, you're doing some pretty awesome things. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
So yes, absolutely. Syreta, first of all, thank you so much for opening this door for
Absolutely.
me. That way, what you said is that just for someone to pick something out of this conversation, right?
Mhm.
There's so many successful people that are out there that just hear golden nuggets and just ready to implement them into their own lives. Um,
Absolutely.
so that is one of my biggest goals here in this podcast, is just like to hit somewhere where someone really needs to hear. And
Right.
and I always say, even if you're going through a hard time, use my faith in you.
That's right. Because you don't have to
Use it.
thank me for putting you on the show. Thank him for giving me a show. Isn't that
Mm.
nice? Because let
Yes,
me tell
yes.
you, he's a mover and a groover. We were talking before we went live about just from a paragraph of a book, you remembered it because it was impactful. So I want to have that same conversation. If you want to tell us about the book that you instantly, through recall, knew the paragraph.
So it goes a little further than that. I'll just give a quick background. So
Mhm.
in 2017, I was able to pick up the book Think and Grow Rich for the first time
Yeah, by Napoleon
by
Hill.
Napoleon Hill.
Huh?
And I read the book, and I kind of it was so hard to understand. So I put it to the side, and I just kept on picking it up and reading. But that's what got me interested into the subconscious mind and how we
Mhm.
really are able to think. Um,
That's right.
a little bit about my background is I was definitely not one for reading, and
Hmm.
it's so funny now because I spend hours a day reading, just feeding my
Nice.
mind on these positive things, and helps me get to my goals.
That's right. That's right. Let me tell you, it actually became super clear to me because in the last 2 weeks, a lot of people know that I've just kind of been battling. I had, my stepfather's already passed about 10 months ago. My father passed away on the 4th. So I feel like every day I had a reason to cry. Every day something was going on, and I had to just hit my prayer closet and get on my knees and realize that I'm not special. This has
Mm.
happened to people before, and it's how I choose to approach my day is how it's going to go. And I really, really, from everything you say, Nick, I know that you believe the same.
Absolutely, like just exactly what you had said, right? And the struggles is so real that all of us individuals have in our own mind. It doesn't matter what backgrounds we come from, right? Whether we've
Mm-hmm.
done time in prison, whether we grew up with an abusive parent or parents,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, we all struggle still. So there's certain things. I'm a big believer in auto suggestion.
Hmm.
And so what auto suggestion does is I always continually tell myself things out loud,
Yeah.
where this is who I am, and because I don't have to worry about finances, because our finances comes from a divine surplus.
That's right.
A divine surplus. God is our supplier. He never runs dry. He never
Not at all.
he never runs dry. So it, like, even in the times that you were saying that you were just going through some hard
Yeah.
days, right,
Yeah.
and locking yourself in the closet. I think it's super important that even when it's sunny and there's no wind outside, we can still train ourselves to prepare by auto suggestion. Like
That's right. And let me tell you, I'm a firm believer in it because it works. I used to work in this building and then I started my own business and became a client. And I used to tell my immediate boss all the time, I'm going places. I'm going to do big things. I'm telling you, I'm going places. I'm telling you, I'm going to do big things. Now I see her out in the community and she sees it. And that was only maybe like 8, 9, 10 months ago. But I
wow.
kept verbalizing it because I knew that there was something bigger. I knew that God was moving me in a direction where, in this building, I basically was the receptionist, you know?
Yeah.
And like I went from the receptionist listening to a man named Jay Sparks, who I, eventually want to have on my show, listening to Ray Hall, listening to all these people starting their businesses. And I was just the receptionist with a past that I didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
And then it was just like I was holding myself back, but I was telling myself, I can do it. I can do it. Doesn't matter what stumbling block. And I heard, and I was secretly lusting for, all these things that they're saying. I want to do them. I want to do them. And I did.
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
And I didn't lock myself in the closet. It's my prayer closet. I just go in there and pray, pray, pray. Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
I should lock myself in there. It's peaceful. Go ahead.
But and again, it goes back to the mindset, right? Because, like, for instance, the other day I was with one of my friends and his nephew, and I asked him how his job was going. He had just started this job, and he said, "Oh, well, I had the day off because my machine broke, and they told me that I didn't have to come to work." And I said, "Well, you missed your opportunity." Because what you could have said is like, well, I'll come tomorrow and I'll just learn something new.
That's right.
And so I think from a lot of us, especially when we have hard times, because when we have hard times and we beat ourselves
easy to give up
in our mind, we're not confident. We don't have the confidence to think outside the box per se.
Very much so.
So I think it's super important for us to be positive, especially about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, look at you, Syreta. Look how much has happened in your life, and it's funny that people only see this.
Yeah.
And we don't see nothing behind the last 12 months, 12, 18 months. When I first was released, coming home, I didn't have a plan. The plan that I had was, I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to work 2 or 3 jobs, and I'm going to get my kids back. But coming back into the world, thankfully, praise God that I was able to do these things. But the world had changed so much.
Wow.
So I think it's super important to anyone listening here that don't take the mindset or don't have the thought where I don't need no one's help.
That's right.
I'm in business now. That's kind of my space. And I love it because God has allowed me to be with all these business owners that are really successful. Yeah. But what I see is, like, for instance, a couple months ago, I was setting up a business, and real quick, I just found a coach in that industry.
Wow. Yeah.
I found an online coach in that industry. And now I'm in this industry, and I go to a friend that's been in it 12 years, and I already know more knowledge than he does about the industry.
I find that often in the podcast world, but iron sharpens iron. So somebody will tell me something and then I'll run with it and come back like, hey, and we need to be doing this and this and this on top, because iron sharpens iron. And I'm telling you, sometimes you have a divine appointment that you don't even know that you have. Not to say that, I'm all that or whatever, but I just feel like this. If people let you down, and I thought this morning, don't feel special, because Jesus had 12 apostles and they ran. One of them even denied him. They couldn't even stay up all night with him. So I'm no Jesus, but why do I feel special? And guess what? It doesn't matter, because, we've been in a place where people give up on you as long as you don't give up on yourself.
Right.
Don't give up on yourself. And I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't know what's going on with God. That means you've given up on yourself, because let me tell you, you've got to have a faith in something that's stronger than you, to carry you through.
You really do. And you know, yesterday I saw a comment. This individual was struggling financially,
Mm.
and he made a post saying, I know we're not supposed to ask God about money.
Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Why would you say? Jesus spoke, and mostly every parable that Jesus spoke, it had to do with money.
That's
God,
right.
God,
Yeah,
God,
the rich man.
God gave us one opportunity to test him.
Mm-hmm.
And that is to make sure we pay our tithes to his house,
Mm-hmm.
and he will open up such a blessing to us. So we, and again, it could go to the self-confidence again,
Yeah.
not being
Yeah.
confident, not having my faith with God. God is such a loving God where he wants us to ask of the things
Yes,
that we
yes, he
desire.
does. And you know what? Everyone is, stuck on this is the love of money is the root of all evil. That's true, the love of it, because the Bible also says money is a protection. So this man is bearing his soul like, oh my God, I'm doing so bad, but I'm afraid to ask,
Mm.
And I just feel like this. There's been so many times in the last couple of weeks that I've been afraid to ask. But then when I do, I get that peace that excels all thought.
Wow.
Like I don't know if I'm praying for the right things. And I just feel like sometimes we'll just pray for everything we think we need. And he's going to make sure we get what we need.
What we need. Yes. Yeah. Because
Yes.
he knows what
Yes.
exactly what we need. And thank God for his answers when he says no.
Yeah.
Because whenever he says no, and if I wanted let's just keep it money, and I just want
Mhm.
so much money, and I'm asking God, God can be hiding me from destruction
Absolutely.
with all this money. So
Yeah.
so it takes time for us to build money. It takes time for us to rethink of ourselves and
Hmm.
know that we are worthy of money.
Yes. And he
What-
will give it to us when we're ready. And
Yeah.
it's not even finances, it's relationships, it's family. When you are ready for the blessing to be upon you, he's going to make sure you get it. And he's going to make sure you get it 1,000-fold. Because, a lot of people know that I spent a long time away. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to hit the ground running. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Well, like I say, too, faith without works is dead. So I was
Mm.
putting in the work. And let me tell you, the life that I live, it's like I open my eyes and I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And a lot of times, too, like I said, I kind of went through it. I think to myself, how can I ever be sad? You know? Like
Right.
how could I ever feel any type of way except for that blessing that's upon me? So
Mm.
we're all struggling with something. But let me tell you, don't give up on yourself. And don't feel like, when people run, when people kind of sometimes we shun each other, we don't know exactly why. It hurts, all of that. God will bring the people in your life when you need them, and he will take them out when you don't.
Yes, yes. Syreta, you said something really important. So I think what it is it's a feeling. Now, let me give you an example.
Sure.
So I went to Dallas a couple years ago. I was already I was exiting my company. I had a moving company for 10 years, and I was about to be stepping out of it. So I went down to Dallas, talked to some business partners of mine, and they offered me a job. Right?
Hmm.
They offered me a job where I wrote my own ticket. I let them know
Nice.
what I wanted to get paid.
Mhm.
So
But
so I ended up leaving. Yeah, praise God for that.
mhm. Yeah.
But I'm leaving though, and I'm like feeling so good about myself, feeling
Mhm.
so good because I can really accomplish anything. So Sarita, you've had that feeling.
Mhm.
Everyone's had that feeling. It might not be to the scale, right? But it
Yeah.
was a good. There's been a good experience in everyone's life for us to have that feeling. So
Yes.
when I think it's important that when we go through these hard times, we can remember that feeling and
Yeah.
go back there,
Uh-huh.
go back to there because then it helps build our self confidence.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And every time I walk in this building, I walk past the front desk and I think, wow,
Yeah,
Wow. It was one of the most fulfilling times of my life where I got to come back as a client saying I'm going to start my own keynote speaking business with the same man who was the entrepreneurship coordinator that I heard telling everyone how to start their businesses. And I actually was like, I'm going to cry. And, and ever since then, it's been up. It's been up.
Yeah.
It's been up. And even in the hard times, it's been up.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
been up. And listen, I'm gonna have to say this man's name because I just love him. His name was David Strumpf, and he was in my life for just a quick little minute in the span of time. And after he passed, everybody he was their mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Wow.
don't know where the man found time in the day, but he was really encouraged me to get a real estate license. He had his hands in everything. That he was, had international friends, and he said, Syreta, surround yourself with a circle of excellence. People that are doing something different than you, people that are doing something better than you. Keep on being in the circle of excellence. And he said, you're in my circle of excellence, and that will always stick with me.
Yes.
So here's another thing too. We've got to guard our hearts against, sometimes people just don't know the effect that they can make on you, but we don't know that effect either. Do you want to speak to that about how you should surround yourself with people or maybe eliminate some?
Yeah. And also go back exactly what you had just said about guarding your heart.
Yeah.
But yes, I truly believe that. No, I feel it when I separate from the people I'm supposed to be with, right? That are doing business, that are doing great things, that have families, that have mortgages. And then I go, and then I stop hanging around them, or I'll see another friend, and you feel it because the other friend might not have much going on. Still, whatever living situations going on there.
Yeah.
So it's very important for us to surround ourselves with good, positive friends that
Absolutely.
are doing good things.
Yeah, remember they say if you're hanging around 9 millionaires, you'll be the 10th. If you're hanging around 9 losers, you'll be the 10th. And that's
true.
Like, you can speak things into existence. I was talking to my uncle. I just love talking with you, Nick. I do. We're in different locations, but it's like he is right here with me. And I was talking to my uncle, and he was saying something, at least you still have youth on your side. And I'm like, oh man, I'm 45. I'm getting older. And he said, don't speak that over your life. Don't speak that over your life. So just like I was saying, hey, I'm going places, I'm doing things. I'm going to make sure I keep that mantra. And listen, we have done everything in this world except for talk about what you're doing now. So let's do.
Yeah.
Business.
So for the past 10 years, I was running my own moving company. I had a moving household company that really did. It was really successful. I started with one truck, an old truck. And was got up to running 8 crews.
Wow.
So we were running 8 trucks. So we were doing good there. I got burned out on it. I knew that I wanted to do something different. But plus this time I was just reading and studying and growing, developing my mind, developing myself. So last year ended up closing down. I ended up selling, pieced out the company. Fast forward to this year is what I'm in doing is I'm actually consulting business owners.
Nice.
So there's
so you get to impart that knowledge that you had from your own business.
Yeah, and absolutely. But here's the thing. There are so many people that get in business and so they start making a lot of money, but they know nothing about how to set up a business. Right. They don't, it's not there. And so that's where I want to come in, work hand in hand with the business owner. That way we can develop a plan. That way
that's right. Because without a plan, you plan to fail.
And do you not know? So if a lot of business owners don't know plans, I'm also doing a lot of city development in my state.
Okay.
I'm working with a couple of mayors from different cities in Oklahoma. Do you not know that there's so many cities in the state without an economic development plan?
Wow. Do you know what building I'm in? This is the Regional Economic Development Incorporation for Columbia, or actually the Boone County area. So yes, it is super important super important to make sure you have an economic development plan for your business, a business plan, what your trajectory is. And, a lot of people don't know there's a lot of grant assistance available, but you have to have a business plan. They're not just going to throw you money and you don't do anything, or they don't know what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to have a business plan specifically and get some professional help, have it written out. But and I maybe should have included my email address, or that way, if anyone does want to contact me or reach out to me, that they definitely can. But
okay, well, let's just throw it in the chat, and let me see here. Now, Nick, you're challenging me. What we're going to have to do is I will put it in the comments after they upload this, because clearly, listen, I'm just happy I was able to get this going.
I know that's right.
I struggle with technology. I'm just so happy that we're live. Why don't you just tell us what it is?
So I just posted my email. It's nick@blueprintconsultant.biz.
Okay, and you can also change your name while we're talking, and I'll just take up the slack on our display. So go to edit and just go ahead and change that out. And while Nick's doing that, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the things we touched on. Business plan, business plan, business plan, business plan. Even if you don't think that you're going to need, additional funds, if you approach a loan for your a bank for a loan for your business, and you don't have a business plan or a strong business plan, you're going to be in trouble. And that's what they're going to tell you that you need. They're going to also let you know that, maybe you need to contact a consultant. If they see promise in you, a good banker will send you to the places that you need to go to make sure you're doing it right. But if you hit Nick up, it seems like you can bypass a lot of that and be able to have the tools that you need to make your business grow. I see I gave you enough time to put that in there. So Blueprint Consulting, how long? About a year we've been doing this, right?
So the Blueprint Consultant has just rolled out.
Nice.
So it's exciting.
Debut on my show, Syreta Talks. Debut. Go ahead.
So no, we just rolled out. Currently, we have 3 clients that we're working with their business, and it's so fulfilling because we already have 2 months on all 3 clients, and they're already seeing results in their business.
Oh, nice. Tell me some of their problems, though. Tell me some of the problems. Tell me some of the problems that they were having.
Unorganized. A lot of business owners feel that they have to wear every hat. I got to do this. I got to do the sales. I got to do the payroll. When nowadays you just put everything in a system, in a software, and it takes so less of your time. One example, I have a dealership that was posted online on Facebook Marketplace, doing 1 vehicle per time. I got him set up in the software. A couple of clicks, he can post 26 posts in a couple of clicks.
And that saved him so much time, so much energy, and probably a lot of stress.
For sure.
Yeah.
And one thing I say to business owners is, if I was a painter, right? And this is a lot of businesses. If I had a painting business and I was going to paint this wall, I would have to unload all my equipment from my truck, put it in here, tape everything, protect everything, put my ladder on the wall, walk up there, paint it, and then the homeowner comes and says, "That's the wrong wall. Your wall's over here." So business owners, small, younger business owners, when I say younger, have been in business for under 5 years. But business owners will think they're working right here on the right wall. And they're running, they're doing 60 hours a week. They're not eating healthy because they're so busy. But a business person from outside can see, like, no, let's focus over here so we can kill all of that.
Yes, and delegation. Yeah, a lot of times when you start your own business, even if you have employees, I've just encountered this in that you still want to do everything. And you have someone who can help you with that. There's nothing wrong with delegating. Nothing at all. Do you agree?
No, I mean, I believe every small business owner should spend an hour a week planning to delegate.
Okay.
Because because if I take that hour on a Sunday and I plan on what I'm delegating, Monday I turn it in, my team's handling it for me. So
Wow.
100% agree with you. Man, I was going to say something else too, but yes, delegation is where it's at, right? You need a team to help you hit that vision. I remember what I was going to say is the reason why people want to do it so much, wear all those hats, is because it's my baby. You don't know anything about my baby.
Yes, true. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. So just pick up, well, okay, I got my light back on, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my camera again. And that's a thing. That's
You're
a thing.
good.
That's a thing. But I just want to, even if you're a solopreneur, which is me, I don't have a crew. I like to block out time on Mondays, the start of the day or the start of the week for planning and organization. Like, am I going to send out emails? Am I going to check and see what times I have available so I can get awesome people like Nick Lozano on my show so I can catch up to what I need to be doing for my part-time job, because clearly you've been reading lots of books. I'm sure you've read, you have to have multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
So if you're a solopreneur, don't think that you don't need that organization and planning time. You probably need it more than most because you don't have anyone else to, assist you. Would you agree, Nick?
Absolutely. I use an app called Asana. It's ASANA. And I have different folders in there. I have a to-do list folder. I have a Syreta folder, what notes that you and I talked about, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to remember this. I have a grocery store list folder. So just on my phone, I don't have to remember anything. I can
and that's a lot.
And it's right there.
Because I feel like when we are always locked in to trying to remember everything, we're not going to be able to. So here's something I picked up, that if you can do it within the next 15 to 30 seconds, just go ahead and do it. Yeah. Just go ahead and do it. Like if I think about sending a text and I'm like, wow, I need to really, get a hold of this person, see, follow up, get them on my show. Do they have this coming out? I need to make sure I get out here and promote for them. Do it in that 30 seconds. And I even told my son that because, he was getting overwhelmed. It was his first apartment. He was like, Mom, I'm just feeling like I'm getting behind. I got laundry. I got dishes in the sink. I said, well, guess what? That can lead to depression. So when you walk past that sink, just do 2 of them. You don't got to do them all. You know what I'm saying? You do what you can. Sometimes you have to break things up into small portions.
Yes.
So that way you can get some of them done. So when you look at your to-do list, tell me if you're the same or if you're thinking this way. Should you try and tackle the large or maybe tackle 2 of the small ones until you get to the large?
I like that because I believe it's important to start a momentum.
Yeah.
Right? So let me do something small and then I'll go to the next one, work on that. And then I can build myself. And it goes back to self-confidence.
Yes. And that way you don't get overwhelmed, or watch out for being overwhelmed, because so many people from the outside looking in were like, Syreta, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. You got to slow down. Well, now I feel like I can maybe start taking little baby steps to not putting so much on my plate, even though it feels good. It can feel good. But when you got to, it's a delicate balance. They call it work-life balance. But I like to say this too, like it's a whole being, mental, physical, spiritual.
It is.
You're right. Yeah, you can't work 60 hours a week and eat trash food, even though Nick had to wait to go live because I had to eat some trash food. I'd eaten all day. We're not gonna say what it is until they give me a sponsorship. Burger King. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
If I could say something to you, you block time, right? So block time is so important. Where we, for instance, if like this, I knew that I had this 1 to 2 o'clock or 2:30 blocked off on my schedule for this. I don't have the phone ringing. I don't have no clients calling. I don't have this. I am totally focused here. So what happens when we work on block time? I can work on block time for 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week. And everyone that sees me that's on social media or whatever, they're like, dang, do you have time for anything? But it goes back to what wall am I painting?
Oof,
I'm painting the white wall. right?
Yeah.
I am on the right wall to get to where I want because I have that plan.
You're working smarter and not
Yeah.
harder.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you could tell a small business owner who's just getting started in this moment at this time, what is something that they can do to make sure that they're, and we know you've got to say you're a success, you've got to act like you're a success, you've got to dress like you're a success because you are. But
Yeah.
what can we tell them in this moment to strengthen them?
I you said it. Act.
Yes,
Today I'm going to act as if.
that's right.
I'm going to act as if. So let's just say, for instance, a person wants to make $25,000 a month, right?
Hmm.
What the person that makes $25,000 a month? How does he think?
Hmm.
What does his morning look like?
Right.
How many times does he check his emails?
Hmm.
How does he walk? How does he talk? So once I know how this man or woman who makes
Hmm.
$25,000 a month and I want that level, I
Yeah,
have to act as if. If you're starting
that's right.
if you're starting a lawn care and you want to make $10,000 a month, act as if that person. Be
Yes.
confident. Be confident in yourself.
I am a firm believer of what you just said too. And one of the speeches that I've given recently is if you don't walk into the room like you own it, you never will. Well, on that note, Nick, I just want to thank you for coming on. Blueprintconsulting.biz. He's already got some clients that, and tell me a little bit before we go about how you were able to quantify and solidify their business, and just lead us out, Nick.
Yes, it's been so nice being on here. I really
Thank
appreciate your
you.
time as well.
Of
Um,
course.
how I got their business, I put myself where they're at,
That's right.
meaning meetup groups, networking groups, and for people to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
All I needed to hear, all I needed to have was people to hear me because I'm passionate, I'm sincere,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to make an impact.
That's right.
That's
That's
it.
right. And as long as you know you're going to make an impact, you will. As long as you walk with stride and faith and know that there is something that can guide and direct you, and you're talking to him and telling him what you need, well, he's going to give you what you need. Nick, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. Nick at blueprintconsulting.biz. Take care and thanks for coming to Syreta Talks.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.